party started here. Jessica's just started recording, so this will be good. Like I said, it's gonna be a brief one today, probably 20-ish, 25 minutes max. But basically, we want to go through and provide a little bit of insights into the agenda, into the happenings of the summit, and kind of for people who are new and haven't done this before, or people who are returning, so they can kind of figure out what's the best way to maximize their experience. Right? It's gonna be a lot happening. We have an action-packed agenda, a lot of events, meals, things like that, and there's been a lot of these things across the industry. I think along the way we've learned some ways to maximize the experience. So we're going to go through that. So real quick, I'm John Norris, the education work group leader for PromoStandards. I do these things monthly. At the end of this, we'll hop into what the coming up topics are in future months. But this month, obviously, our big focus is on our Hackathon and Technology Summit, which is actually going on right now. Briefly about PromoStandards, our mission is we collaborate to create industry-leading open standards, that's an important piece of it, that enable industry participants to improve customer experience, to reduce transactional friction, and effectively execute their digital strategy. We like to remind ourselves constantly about what our mission is and make sure we're staying true to that. All right, sweet. Big news. Tech Summit is officially 12 days away. I was just in Florida a few days ago. It is lovely weather down there. We're really looking forward to it. The team's working super hard, meeting constantly to pull this thing off. So it's going to be an awesome time. Real quick, some of the big things to look forward to is obviously our big focus on digital transformation. Collaboration is a huge piece of our event. And then it's the industry's largest only technology event really of the year. So it'll be awesome. So there are still a handful of spots left. If you haven't registered yet, I would encourage you to do so very quickly. If you have somebody in your team, somebody locally that you want to get to show up, there's still time, but not much time. So so it's unlike Donkey Kong. So real quick before we get into the agenda and things, I just want to give a big shout out to our sponsors. So these events, it takes a lot to put these events on with a hotel and agendas and speakers, and we've had a huge volunteer crew between our speakers, our panelists, our work group leaders, our work group participants. But at the end of the day, the sponsors really make this happen as well. So shout out to Essent and Distributor Central, who are our ultimate sponsors, and then Facilis and Common SKU, who are diamond sponsors. And then Order My Gear, ASI, and Showdown Displays are our platinum sponsors. One of the things that it's going to be awesome, we've been working to assemble one of the more epic swag selections of any tech event or any industry event. I've seen most of them, and we're going to have a pretty sweet stash of swag. So you'll definitely leave decked out in your greatest PromoStandards swag that exists. All right, so right now, some of you are actually involved in this as it's happening. The hackathon is in progress right now. We kicked it off yesterday via our Wonder.me platform. So we've ended up with 7 teams. So there are 5 teams that the standard committee leaders are running, and there are 2 wildcard self-formed teams. We're kind of billing those as our international team. So if you're participating in it, you probably know the schedule, but right now we did our kickoff meeting yesterday, and then the teams have until Monday, a week from yesterday, to complete their projects and deliver or build a presentation that they're going to give live via Zoom meeting that we're going to have open to the Hackathon and Tech Summit attendees. So everybody will get 10 minutes to pitch their solution. And then we're going to have judges that are going to go through and judge them based on problem statement clarity, creative presentation creativity, and technical feasibility. Now, the cool part is we're not going to announce the winners until the first night of the Tech Summit, which is the opening night. So opening night of the Tech Summit, we're going to replay the recorded presentations kind of banter back and forth live in person about them. And then we will crown and announce the ultimate winning team and give them their big fat fancy check and send them on their way with about $5,000 in cash. So it's kind of a big deal. It's going on right now. If you're in it, I know I've seen these Slack channels. You're very active. That's awesome. So we're looking forward to all the results that come out of that. So if you're not in it, definitely check out on Monday. Jessica will send out the invites for everybody to get that Monday, September 26th, 4 p.m. time locked in for the presentations. Okay, so real quick, I just want to go through the agenda just to make sure everybody I'll provide some my anecdotal thoughts and banter as we go through, but you know, this is what it is. So on Sunday, obviously people are going to travel there throughout the day. We have an official check-in from 3 to 5 on Sunday afternoon. Jessica, myself, and a bunch of the other team members and volunteers are going to be helping with the check-in, make sure everybody gets their swag, everybody gets all their cool stuff. So if you get there at any time of those few hours, if you're not there at that time, we'll hold your stuff for you. Somebody will be sitting out there throughout the evening, throughout the few sessions to make sure that we're good to go. So then right at 5 o'clock, we're going to kick off the award ceremony. So we're going to go through, highlight the presentations and crown and official awards. And then after that, from 6 to 8, we're going to have a good old happy hour food. So we'll have dinner there. It'd be just an overall good time to reconnect. Obviously, the booze and alcohol will be flowing there as well. So that's the first night. For those of you who are local to Tampa and Tampa fans, there's a Monday night football game or Sunday night football game going on in Tampa that night. So that'd be a pretty interesting one. I think it's the Chiefs are playing the Bucks. I could be wrong there though. All right. Importantly, if you haven't seen this yet, we've announced our keynote speaker. So Andrew Larson, he's a PhD. He's the director of data science at Fox Corporation. Raj has a connection with Andrew, and we've interviewed him a few times. He's put together an awesome presentation where he's going to really try to take data science from a PhD level, large corporate level, and skin it down to where it's more relatable to our attendees and small businesses and medium and large businesses as well. But we want people to walk away with, if you're not into data science today, what are some building blocks that you could start preparing your organization for in the future to take advantage of a deeper understanding and knowledge of data science. So it's a pretty interesting dude. Really looking forward to it. So that's going to kick off the old Tech Summit there. So I'm really looking forward to his presentation. So Monday, kind of giving you a rundown of what we're going to be doing. Breakfast, we're going to kick it off. Eric's going to, our chair of PromoStandards right now, is going to kick it off. Welcome everybody. We're going to rip through Andrew's thing for an hour, take a quick break. And then this bearded fella that you see here at 10:15. So Michael Conway, he's an ex-PromoStandards board member. He was with PCNA, he was with ASI. Now he's outside the industry, and he's a managing director of a digital transformation company. So he's going to give a hour-long presentation. The cool part about this is he was in our industry for 15 years. He understands how we go to market, and he's going to really focus on trying to, lead promo tech firms and promo people through the digital transformation journey, right? It's a big buzzword right now. So he's going to break it down, give us the whole skinny. So I'm really, really looking forward to Mr. Conway's presentation. So, and if you don't remember who he is, he's the Australian fella. So it's a good way to remember him. Next is going to be pretty awesome. So I'm actually here at an event in New York today with Catherine. Catherine's going to lead a panel on digital transformation on the factory floor, right? What we're seeing across the industry is in tighter labor markets, we're finding that technology, automation, semi-automation, all sorts of tools are being utilized to offset rising labor costs. And there's a lot of suppliers doing some pretty cool things on the factory floor. So, this is a one-of-a-kind panel. This has really never been touched on at any education event that I've been to in the industry. I think as technologists, we often are behind some of the implementation of these cool pieces of technology that's out on the factory floor today. So really looking forward to this. Catherine's going to have a great selection of panelists for that. So that gets us to lunch. Lunch is an hour. And next is a pretty popular topic that, has been done, but I think we continue to get great results out of it. So we're going to do an hour of industry technology roundtables. What this is Stephen Stanley's going to lead this, and I threw the topics up over on the right. But we have 10 tables or 11 tables that people can pick and choose, rotate through. We'll have 20-minute or 15-minute discussions with the tables, and each one will have a group leader. But look through the selections on the right. If there's things that pique your interest, make sure when it gets to it that you just go and plop down on one of those tables and have a conversation with other like-minded people. I think obviously network security is a big one. We have a few different in security, right? There's a lot of online internet security challenges that are outside the realm of network security. And I'm going to lead one on ERP selection and implementation. There's a getting started with PromoStandards. So we have a whole slew of roundtables and roundtable topics that'll be both tech generic related, PromoStandards related, and just industry related. So next we're going to get into a few breakouts. Amy and I are going to stack up 2 breakouts against each other, which would be pretty interesting. So we're in the breakouts, we're trying to keep one pretty heavily PromoStandards related and the other one more general technology related. So Amy's going to lead a presentation and panel and have a few solid panelists get up there and walk through PromoStandards case studies. I think the biggest thing is a lot of times is selling PromoStandards within your organization, showing that ROI. So these case studies will be real industry use cases of PromoStandards at work in their organizations and the ROI and the benefits that organizations have seen from implementing PromoStandards. So it'll be a pretty awesome one. We've done this before in the past, but these are going to be some new case studies, new topics, and new panelists. So I'm really looking forward to that. Unfortunately, I won't be seeing it because I'll be leading a session at the same time. We're going to be doing a ERP journeys panel. It'd be selecting, implementing, and connecting ERPs within the industry. So we have a panelist of Dino from Extend Tech, Becky from Sanmar, who else do we have? Patrick from Snugs, and then one of the highly trained gentlemen over at ASB, always representing. So looking forward to that. Then after that, we'll take a quick break and get right back into another session of breakouts. Like I said before, one will be heavily tech focused, the other one will be heavily PromoStandards focused. So Aaron Anderson is the chair of our best practices committee for PromoStandards. He's going to lead a session on PromoStandards best practices. It's one of those things it's been a big focus for us in the last 18 months to ensure that we're trying to provide guidance for adoption and consumption of individual standards and just overall architecture. While the standards have required and unrequired fields, there's a lot of gray area, and the best practices committee is trying to tackle that one standard at a time and make sure that we're all on equal footing in terms of communicating best practices. Next, David Jackson. He's the Vice President of Technology at Spectre. He's been around the industry for quite a while and very knowledgeable, great speaker. So he's going to lead a discussion on the supporting a hybrid workforce. A lot of this, in the last 2 years, the tech world's been flipped upside down. There's a lot of cool tools and pieces out there that he's going to walk through. And And then last, we're going to wrap up the day, the first day one or day two, whatever you want to call it, with the opposite of best practices. I think we, over the years, beat the hell out of industry best practices. So we're going to flip that on its head and do my worst day in tech. So we're going to go through and have a pretty open discussion, OAM, where people can get up there and tell their story of their worst day in tech. Most of them are pretty funny now that people are through them. I'm, knowing that I have a few of these stories as well. They suck when they're happening, but after the fact, it can be a pretty fun story to tell. So that's going to happen. So that'll be the end of day one. So at the end of day one, or this day, we have a pretty awesome party. It's about a 5-minute walk from the event location. We've rented out an entire bar in Tampa, the Rec Room. It's one of those like adult arcades. So it's a lot of like traditional arcade games on top of giant Jenga, giant beer pong, whatever you want to call it. But we have the whole place rented out for this night. It's going to be super awesome. So we're really looking forward to that. So day one's going to end in the bang. Be a good time. The next day, kind of, it's going to really a half day of content here. We're going to kick the day off with Mike Pfeiffer at ASB. He gives some great network security presentations. So he's going to run through this one. It's kind of a hybrid of a cyber incident in progress, and then kind of some tips and topics to learn. So they had an incident, and he's going to kind of relive it and kind of share the lessons learned from that. After that, we're going to kick off. So Eric Schoenbarger, the president of HIP Promotion Products, and is also our standards committee chair. He's going to intro and preview along with Raj and Steve Stanley, the order management service, which has been coming down the pipeline, is in a very stable alpha and beta right now, along with our OS 2.0 service and how those two interact. So there'd be a pretty big launch of a new service for PromoStandards, probably our most impactful service to date. And it'd be a real game changer for the industry and PromoStandards. Lastly, we're going to wrap up with the education portion of this event together with Eric Alessi, who is chair of PromoStandards, but runs our strategic roadmap committee, is going to have a panel of his committee. And the goal here is to identify and solve industry pain points, right? It's going to be an open discussion between the panelists and the audience. We want to map out both the future of PromoStandards in terms of what's the next tech challenges we face, along with what are some things that are happening in the industry that might be right for PromoStandards to tackle. I think we have the industry's technologists all in the same room together, 125 of them. It's a great opportunity for us to try to go through that experience and map it out in person and just have an honest discussion on where technology is heading in our industry and how PromoStandards can help tackle these challenges. So that's awesome. We're going to wrap. There's be a lunch, and then we have some optional events that we've scheduled for Tuesday and Wednesday. So we are actively working with some local organizations in Tampa to have a volunteering opportunity. I think a lot of times we're stuck in the office a bit too much and don't always have the opportunity to give back to the community. So we're still working on the details of this, but it'll be a fun afternoon. I think there's a lot of good that can be done from our tech community participating. That evening, I've mentioned this before, Jessica posted in Slack, if you're around that evening, we're gonna do some dine arounds. These are 6 to 8 person dinners where I have fond memories of every dine around I've been to, the people who were in them. The first time I met Eric Schoenberger and Dave Schultz was in a dine around in Atlantic City. It was, I think you make really good connections with people who are attending at these dine arounds. So that'd be an awesome event. The next morning, breakfast, and then we're going to run open committee meetings. So we'll have some of our committee chairs there, and it'd be an opportunity to interact with the PromoStandards committees and walk through how they operate and what they're tackling at the moment and what challenges they're facing within their committee. It's a great way to learn the opportunities and then get involved. So those are the two optional events on those days. Here's the party. I guess I got the slide out of order. But yeah, so 7 to 11, it's our PromoStandards Mixer. That's going to be on the Monday night. It's going to be super awesome. So I'm really looking forward to it, if you can't tell. So tips to success. I think some things that we've seen over the years. Don't be shy. Yes, it's 125, I'd say, quasi-technologists. There's a lot of cool people in the room, a lot of smart people in the room. It's a very diverse group of business leaders, devs, technologists, CIOs, CTOs, the whole gamut. Just, don't be shy. One thing that I tend to recommend is sit with different people for meals and during the different sessions. Don't sit with the same 3 people the entire few days. It's a great way to meet people, just, plopping yourself down at a random lunch table or dinner table. I think we always encourage very active question and answer sessions. We leave 10 minutes at the end of each session to hammer the panelists and speakers with questions. I think this is your time to, really get your questions out there and to interact with the attendees. So just definitely, as speakers are presenting, jot down a few questions that you might have that you can fire away at the end. One thing I've always done at these events, I'm doing it here at the one I'm at right now, is definitely connect with the speakers and panelists on LinkedIn. I think it's a great way to stay in contact with them professionally. That way you'll know at the end, who these people are, what their positions are, where they work for, and who they're connected to. 5, most importantly, especially coming from me, have fun. These things are educational events and networking events, but at the end of the day, they're also just a good way to, have a little bit of fun with your coworkers, with your industry peers. It's a good time. I said this before, meet somebody new. Definitely every day try to meet somebody new. I've met lots and lots of new people. I would say half of the attendees are first-time attendees at this event. So there's going to be some new faces. So let's get out there. Like I said, there's a lot of really smart people attending this event. So definitely, do what you can there. And then most importantly, we want to show the rest of the industry and everybody else that we're having a good old time down in Tampa. So if you're having a good time, share your social media experiences, tag them with the old hashtag PromoStandards. You're gonna get the love out there and show everybody what it's all about. I just want to give a quick shout out, and then I'll wrap it up here in a few seconds. This is our Tech Summit planning team. This group is probably slacks each other hundreds of times a day. Is in constant communication, tracking down swag, event information, menu information, the whole gamut. So shout out to this group here, Amy, Becky, Dave, Brony, and Jessica for doing the cat herding that it is. So it's good. Okay, so that date is not right, but this is the education events schedule so far. We have them scheduled the 3rd Tuesday of every month at 2 p.m. Eastern. So it looks like October, we're going to do the in-person order management service release, right? So that's the in-person Tech Summit event. So I will not be presenting in October. Woohoo! November, we're going to do some PromoStandards best practices with that committee. And then we're going to try to wrap up the year with a kind of a PromoStandards 3.0, the forward-looking, what's the future of PromoStandards. We'll interview some people from our strategic roadmap committee. That'll be really setting the stage for the future. So it'd be a good way to wrap up the year. Okay, so I am done here. Is there? Here's a question. We are using NetSuite and blah, 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 blah. Okay, Harshad, what we can do, there are some very knowledgeable NetSuite people in the PromoStandards community. Sam Hornstein and Dino run a company called Extend Tech. This is their forte. very much NetSuite, very much PromoStandards. So you can reach out to me in Slack if you're in Slack, and I'll connect you to Dino. But they're definitely the ones you're going to want to talk to about that. Any other questions before we bounce here? All right. So looking forward to seeing everybody. 12 days. It's going to be awesome. Thanks for attending today, third Tuesday, every month, except for next month, because we're doing it in person. So yeah, thanks everybody. Everybody have a good day. Peace out.